Then friends, today's newspaper reading of 1st June 2024, and the first news is about the Trump become the first ex-US president to be convicted of felony. It means he will be the first PM of convicted any crime. As of now, around 34 charges has been framed against the. It is important to know about the Donald Trump and the development in the US, because friend, US has the largest financial budget of 6.5 trillion dollars, and as the US election in the US is scheduled on 5th November 2024, it impact the policy of all across the world. If the Democrat, there are two parties in the US. First one is the Republican, Republican, and second one is Democrat. And the from Democrat side, the representative for presidential post is Joe Biden, and for Republicans it is Donald Trump. And if the Donald Trump come into the power, he has some of opinion regarding the some of policy, like the trade war between China and the USA, and the harsh step against the climate change and the global health policies. And he has not believe in the global warming, or he Donald Trump was the president who just cut the funding of human right UN human right associations and organizations. So in that way it impact the international politics, or all the countries are seeking which party will won the presidential election of USA. Is more inclined toward the Donald Trump, as he has around 53 to 54% sharing and support of voters. And from the perspective of India, it is also important, because we have like the issue of visa with the US. Our largest foreign diaspora live in US, and we have a defense engagement with the US. In the we have signed the Lemoa Comcasa BACA, and right now we are involved with the scientific and space cooperation with the US in field of making NISAR technological advancement of both the countries. And right now USA is one of the country which are ready to send the India's astronaut into the International Solar Alliance. And the conviction of Donald Trump somewhere has favor him in the upcoming election. And move on to the next news. It is about the election conclusion of India. Right now it is the last phase of election that is going to be held in 57 Lok Sabha seats in 7th phase, and in 42 assembly constituency counting on June 4. Another news is about the GDP growth surges to 8.2% on manufacturing gains, and it is the good indication of India's economy. And for India, like our manufacturing sector is gaining momentum, and the GDP of India for financial year 24 is expected to be 8.2, as comparing to the financial year 23 it is 7%. And move on to the next. By the passage of time and the rising of temperature, the water crisis in the different place of country is increasing, especially in Delhi. And the Delhi government has seeking help of Haryana government to release the water, and simultaneously they just take precautionary measures to implement of ban and penalty to the people who waste water. It is circumstances that lead to us due to poor water management and poor awareness of country people toward the natures and toward the global warming. We should have taken as an awakening goal and make our lifestyle as environment friendly. Another news is about the CM Kejriwal, as he has enjoying the bail period. Right now he will be in the Tihad again after 2 days, and he raised question regarding the health issue, as he lost 6 kg in the time duration that he has in the Tihad jail. And second is the CM, like, see that news. Kerala government reject the Karnataka deputy CM accusations of black magic launch probe. See the superstitions level that been circulated at the state level by the deputy CM of Karnataka and the Kerala government. If the people are in the higher position of bureaucratic order saying that kind of things, it eventually reflect and like impact the belief and strengthen the belief in the people regarding the black magic. Why I'm saying so? Because due to black magic, many offering, many killing of animals, even the humans are considered. Many life and the death has been happened due to black magic or due to superstition, irrespective of any religion. And this kind of statement give boost to them, and like should be discouraged, and they just follow the scientific temperament and believe in the progressive things. This article is morally based upon the heat back. Chennai can set an example for India. How the situation in Chennai is different. The role of green cover to mitigate the impact of climate change, and the UN habitat were recommended green pass of access of green area, green garden within the 400 meter of individual house. And how the country like Singapore has managed the 40%, 47% under green cover, and many EU countries are more than 30% of EU cover, 30% of green cover. In India, we are like need to more focus our green area, to increase green area. And from the individual point of view, we just should plant one tree as of reflecting our individual, one countryman, one tree for their protection, for mitigate the climate change impact. And in this article, our editor talk about the impact of AC and the heat loop circle created by the excessive use of AC, and the way of coming out that the again the green cover. This article we have talked about the Joe Biden and the President Donald Trump conviction of court. And this article is talk about the success of Agnikul and the Agniban suborbital tech demonstrators, or the startup in the field of defense. This is a political editorial that is about Odisha, fortress and a hard electoral battles. If you politically enthusiast, you can read this. It's a increase your interest in politics. This is the detailed analysis about the Pune case of builder, in which how the authorities, how the administrations favor the wealthy people, how the tampering of the proofs and the like introducing the rule based order investigations, and the hampering of investigation are being done by wealthy people, in which two of them are arrested by the Pune police, in which his grandfather and his father are having the allegation to force the driver to take the culprit charge of accident. And even the sample mishandling in the sample was done, in which the doctors and in charge for sample was also under the arrest of police. And in that reactions, the civilians gathered and they just expressed their opinion regarding this police investigation and the disappearance of involvement of wealthy people and the influential people in this process. They just want free and the fair investigation, and the culprit should be punished. Friend, as talking about the impact of heat wave on India, 61 killed as brutal heat wave grips several states in north. And in this news, it talk about majority of our workers are vulnerable to the heat wave, and in this 70% of Indian workforce, which count as 38 crore people, depend on heat exposure level. We need to think about that and make policy in a way that are have some relief to the labors which are direct exposure to the sunlight, and they just not impact their health. And move on to the next news is that ED arrested web drug vendor of Uttarakhand who run international syndicate. This is important news that the drugs and the addiction alcohol are very frequently gaining ground in the hilly state, not only in hilly state but in across the India. And this is a major boost to the security agency of India, that they just doing well. And in that AD arrest, he has used the gateway of payment of Bitcoin, and in this transaction, in this investigation, more than 200 Bitcoin was received, which account of estimation cost of 2000 crore. And he has been detained in US earlier. Right now, as he come into the India, he has been detained. And such kind of strong actions are needed to curb the drugs racket and the human trafficking and the alcohol based addiction drive in India. Friend, this news is about the election, as 967 companies of central force deployed in Bengal for last phase, and it is the highest number of security deployment in any phase of election. Why? Because the post-election violence is the biggest issue in Bengal, and from past few elections, whether it is state assembly or like national assembly or their local municipal elections, the case of violence has been continuous and gradually increasing from the Bengal. Being a border state, it is necessary to keep smooth and fair election. That security deployment was being done, and we are expecting the fair election with the good result, and the real mandate of public will win in the Bengal. This is another news from West Bengal, that the highest number of public rally has been granted in West Bengal. And this another important news is about railway to construct canopy bridge across track in Assam, Gibbon Habitat Act. It helped the animals to cross the bridge in a smooth way. Earlier, they just come into the impact of the train and electrifications of the things that lead to the death of them. And in Assam, the area is very favorable to the gibbon. In gibbon sanctuary, it needed, and the similar kind of preservation tactics are used for elephant corridor too. And as much as the things we need development, we need connectivity, we also reserve our forest or like flora and fauna in our country. Another important and the construction news from the India's economy, and it is that the physical deficit in financial year 24 is narrowed to the 5.6% on a better tax mop up. Earlier the deficit is around 5.8%. Now it is around the 5.6%, and in number it is around 16.5 lakh crore, and or 5.63% of the India's GDP. And the good thing is that we have the prediction of India's GDP will grow at the rate of 8.2%. In that way, we easily manage that physical deficit. This is the news from the 6 wounded in knife attack at Germany anti-Islam rally. Friend, in the Europe, the phenomena of protesting against the Israel, against the pro-Palestine and the anti-Islam are raging, in which 6 people are wounded in a knife attack at Germany in anti-Islam rally. Second news is about the US Defense Secretary Lord Austin from Singapore. He has met with the Chinese defense minister to cool the tension, to reduce the gap between them. As of many matters, the China and the US have locked their horn in the issue of Taiwan, or in the issue of Israel and Palestine, or in issue of Ukraine and Russia. Move on to the next. Yemen rebel threat escalations at US strike allegedly killed 16. After the death of Iranian Prime Minister Ibrahim Raisi, the Yemen rebel and the Houthi, or the proxies of Iran, are again active in their own region. Like the Yemen rebels are very much active in Indian Oceans or in Red Sea. They just targeting the assets that are related to the US or to Israel. And in the retaliation from the US and UK, they just have lost 16 people in there, and that is continuous from the both sides until the peace deal, or there is a solution of Israel-Palestine war came out. And as it is the demand of everyone in the international community, bring a peace between both the countries for the sake of people of humanity in the Rafah or in the Palestine, and a code between the Iran and the Israel to have a indirect proxy peace and smooth transition of good from Asia to the Europe, or across the world from the Red Sea or the Strait of Gibraltar. And this news is about the Blinken dismiss Russia's accusations of Trump persecutions. In the election in US in November 5, the discussions about the several countries is very prominent, like the Russia's involvement in election, Russia's comment on election process, and US retaliation. That is be very frequent in coming days in news. This news is from the sports section of the Hindu. Vasily gets the better of Kremlin extended lead with the 8.5 points. The Indian is 2.5 ahead of Ju and Anna. Pragnanda slipped to the 4th place after going down to the new table topper Nakurma. Friend, Indian chess is growing rapidly, and these young representing the chess in the international era, which build the confidence to the youth and make name of India in international, is like a proud moment for every Indian. And the again good news is from the Trista Gayatri duo entered the semi-final after a come front behind victory. Hope they will ensure a final and they win that tournament and make good name in the table in the badminton, and it's also boost the India's badminton. Earlier the PV Sindhu has end their journey in this tournament by defeating from in the final rounds. So that's from my side. Jai Hind friends, see you soon.